Oh, friends, families, and colleagues. I was asked to explain quantum decoherence. So, of course, I first had to look what they mean by quantum decoherence. And to know that, well, let's first see what they mean by quantum coherence. Okay, we know what things, coherent things mean, but what quantum coherence means, because in the way how I understand quantum field, uh, quantum field is a field of infinite possibilities. So anything is possible in quantum field. When you know, to me, quantum field is very simple to explain. But I'm not scientist, physicist. So for me, quantum field is very simple. Now, as soon as we go into science, we're actually going into science, because things become very, very complex. One of the things that I noticed physicists were bothered with is you take a single unity atom, let's call it, split it in two, and no matter how far you put them away, when you make change of vibration or vibration of one of those units, the other one instantly change the vibration to synchronize with this one that will change. And does not matter on a distance. They're using things like this. I assume they call it coherence. Okay? And I think that in practical quantum physics, they use it to measure time. Well, what is quantum field? It is based on electromagnetic pulsation. In quantum field, everything is just energized field that in sacred geometry you can see it like waves that are spreading, colliding, and creating various of contact points, and because of the interaction they create also particular shapes which we call sacred geometry. From the basic one, which is a circle or ball, next from it coming when they collide is going to be basically a Pisces. And here we start seeing already the formation of magnetism, positive and negative, and appearance of light. And these are the three representations of quantum field. But the rest is uncharted territory, because you can make various points of contact, connect them with the straight lines. Imagine that those are now frequency. Depending on the length of the line, you are going to a frequency changes. And since there is a structure, geometric structure involved, there will be many frequencies, many lines connecting, many frequencies. Now you have a brain that is programmed to present or decode certain frequencies in a form of light, and then depending on the frequency there will be a color assigned to this. So whatever we experience in our reality is nothing more than various electromagnetic frequencies decoded through a robot, decoder and robot, which is our body. And now we know one thing. In our reality, you take a guitar and you strum the string A, and on piano, the string A is going to start also sounding, because the same frequency is going to trigger the same movement on another string that has adequate length to thickness part, because those two things depend how the string is going to vibrate when it is hit by this particular frequency. So if you take a string and you plug it, now if it is strong enough that this vibration can, because it goes through air, through space, it has to hit the other string for it to sound. So if you are taking any kind of unity that vibrates exactly the same and you separate it, each part is still going to remain the frequency that is going to be equal to the other part. You change the frequency here, this part is going to respond because they are tuned exactly the same. It's the same mass, same size, same magnetism. It is created by us. The particle does not exist in a quantum field. So when we are talking about coherence, this all depends on the way how we create things. It has nothing to do about quantum field. Quantum field is going to express itself the way we want it to be expressed. Once when we start understanding that we just have to create proper sound, proper sacred geometry. And since we are all part of one, so we have the same program, tuned the same way, and of course, string A is going to produce sound A for me, and from some Japanese on the other side of the planet. Because distance actually does not exist. We are all one. So it's a same unified field. And science is describing a quantum field. Well, this quantum field and that quantum field. There's only one quantum field. Everything else is our projection. And creation is our manifestation. So you want to develop something, you got to think of it, how it's going to work, so it makes sense, so your ego accepts it and can manifest it. Because if ego does not understand it, you will not be able to manifest. And this is the problem. You want to create a quantum computer, and you want to have a quantum field that it can be shaped. But then you want to retain information. Well, information is particular vibration. You cannot have a quantum field can vibrate. Without robot, you are not going to be aware of it. When pushed to robot, it is going to be presented the way the robot was programmed to show the frequency. So we are creating things without properly understanding. So when something happens, we are trying to reason backwards. It's what I call backtracking. You want to have finished product, and then you look back, how did you create it? Because it happened without your understanding. It is always better to go in a quantum physics first, in a quantum field, understanding the quantum field correctly. And then implement it and create the reality using the quantum knowledge. This is why there are so many different views on a double-slit experiment. And of course, the quantum physicists are the most confused. Because, it's a wave, but it's not a wave, it's particle. Yeah, but it's particle within a wave, so we have to. It's not true. Because the experiment clearly shows you that if brain is not involved, you are going to have quantum effect. As soon as you involve brain, which is programmed to expect particular situation to occur, this situation is going to occur. Without brain, nothing. So this is why I don't call it observer, I call it creator, because you anticipate certain outcome because of the information that you have. And when it makes perfect sense to your ego, well, this is how it is going to show it to you. If it doesn't make sense, you are going to have failed experiment or partially correct experiment. It depends how much there is still missing. That has to be put together so you can understand it correctly. So to me, there is no such a thing as a coherent or decoherent quantum field. Quantum field is quantum field. And everything is going to be coherent, everything is going to be synchronized when you understand what you're doing. And it becomes erotic, irrational, when you have no clue what's happening. This is why when I was younger and I heard about quantum physics, they were talking, well, it's a field where particles behave unpredictably. Well, there are no particles in quantum field, so nothing happens unpredictable. Everything is very predictable. But first you have to understand what you want to predict, what you want to achieve, what you want to create. And once you understand that quantum field is pure source, it is the ether, it is the plasma. Well, plasma already has the particles, so it's a half-finished product. So it's faster to move into viable reality. But still, we can instantly create. And this is going to start happening soon. Because we are progressing into the state of knowing, and we'll be able, now we first have to erase all these fake programs installed into us and give ourselves a freedom. Now we don't know what freedom is because we have never been free. Even when we thought we were free, we still were not free because we had programs that were confounding us to certain manifestation. Well, our consciousness has risen to start understanding way more what the creation is, where it comes from. And we are going to become a living creators, the consciousness that can create without boundaries, instantly. But to do so, we first have to eliminate any potential that this can be misused, because this would be the end of the world immediately. This is why we are clearing now consciousness. We are clearing out the rubble that we have created before. And only those who can sink into their hearts and become very empathic will be able to unleash their potential into instant creators, living gods, you can call it. Because there won't be anything that you won't be able to create. Not only that, but you will be in a better position, because you will immediately see if there is a problem there, and you can immediately correct it. Whereas before, the ground crew could not do it. So we, in a ground crew, participating in a game, we had to send the information to the matrix, and then the matrix had to make the correction, but through someone that was coherent enough. Coherent meaning understanding enough in that particular situation, how to use it correctly, or we would have to wait for evolutionary step to be reprogrammed. Now, we are being reprogrammed in this so-called living state, manifested state. This robot is not going to be taken apart. It will just be reconstructed. So things will be added to it. Things are being cleaned that should not be there because they may interfere. This is why we have many symptoms now of detox. And we feel tired, because why? We are being rebuilt, especially when we sleep, when we are relaxed. Rebuilding is going on. And we wake up tired and not able to function and confused because new electrical harnesses have to be put in, new systems, new nerve endings, new clean storages have to be pushed in so we can start creating, manifesting, recalibrating in present time. So, to me, this quantum coherence or decoherence, this is just complex explanation of something that scientists do not know clearly, and they are still looking for ways how to improve. But again, using our reality to try to go into quantum, instead of going into quantum, understanding really what quantum is, and try manifest the product right away, how it is supposed to be. This is what Nikola Tesla was doing. Nikola Tesla will put everything together in his mind, how everything had to be so this unit would function correctly. But again, he still was not a living God because he couldn't manifest it as such. He could only manifest the idea, the drawings for it, the schematic, and then it would physically have to be made. Well, when we are going to be fully empowered, we understand that the metals that we use, the plastic that we use, the lubricants that we use is nothing more than electromagnetic pulsation. So instead of needing to get our hands dirty and to start bending stuff, you can manufacture, create everything in your mind and just spit it out as a finished product. Very, very tough for us to understand now because we are running everything completely wrong. We are coming from a lizard into God. And we have a man in between, and now man that was just 300 years ago shooting bow and arrow, now becoming a live creator of spaceships and stuff. It's a huge leap. So, yeah, everything is confused because, again, we are thinking of greatness using a Stonehenge tools. We have to wait for the shift, and everything will become much clearer. And the shift we are going through is right now. So by the end of this year, we are going to see huge changes, especially, and it will start really accelerating next week when we are going to step into the age of fire and horse. This is actual beginning of our golden age. So, it's how can I explain something that physicists don't understand because they complicate it so much that plain understanding is impossible. We have to go into quantum field and understand quantum field is electromagnetic pulsation. Everything is made from it. The interaction, how to control it. We can do all this with our mind. Why? Because our brains can reproduce any frequency that they are tuned up to. And soon we are going to be free, which means there will be no boundaries. And we'll produce way more colors, way finer sounds, way finer objects, because we are not going to have these boundaries that were installed there. We'll create new programs and immediately start using them and immediately start tuning them and changing them whenever we see problems. So when we are going, is something that our mind really cannot even grasp, because it is going to be so fantastic. Okay, my friends, there is not much to be said about quantum field if you don't understand the quantum field itself. The truth is always in simplicity. Keep it simple. Don't complicate. Big word. Not necessary. Understand what quantum field is and how what we are, that the reality we experience is experienced through the robot. It's not over there, it's within and bounce back from our mirrors, our eyes, creating the illusion. And now we are learning how to make more and more sophisticated ways of expressing this. But yeah, they are complicated, because we are making it complicated. We are thinking of fast planes, fast traveling, when we can manifest ourselves anywhere in the universe we want to be. We don't need any of these vehicles. So you want to create, we like gadgets. We'll be telepathic. So you would be able to converse with anyone in omniverse. Anyone. Including rocks. Because everything vibrates, everything creates sound, everything is part of consciousness. It's conscious of its existence. Again, this is something that religious people will not understand, because they always put something into one being. Well, yes, it is oneness of consciousness, the quantum field. And everything is product of it, but it's unified. This is why, doesn't matter on what distance you put it, if it's the same frequency, triple. One change on one is going to change on the other one, because they are exactly the same. Okay, my friends, I probably didn't explain this well. It's very complex, because I would really have to study what physicists are saying to be able to downgrade it, to make it simple. So instead of studying what they say, I go right in from the simplest form of quantum field there is, because this is the real quantum field. There are no different quantum fields. There's not one. Everything is made from it. Thank you for listening. Love you all. Namaste.